welcome back if you're joining me from my bronzing and blush and highlighting series, and if you're not, this is all about highlighting your face, so thank you for watching. So I did one video all about bronzing as requested by one of my subscribers, or a couple actually, but recently one of them, and then my second video was about how to do blush if you're bronzing. I showed you how to do the typical kind of healthy glow bronze all over your face, then I just decided to do the contour type bronzing on my face. Now I'm going to show you some highlighting options. For highlighter, you can get something like an actual facial highlighter, something that's really good, a really nice product that I liked very much happened to be this Urban Decay Sin, and it's their Urban Glow highlighter. This is just a sample, but it's a really, really pretty color. However, it's a cream form of their eyeshadow Sin. So you can go ahead and use your eyeshadow Sin in Urban Decay for a highlight. That's actually what I choose to do. I don't really like getting facial highlighters. I do have one. This is a age-defying Revlon facial illuminator. This is wonderful, but I don't find that it gives me the highlight that I'm really looking for, and it's really meant to be a face illuminator. There are specific highlighters you can get, and I will list them below if you'd like, but I just choose eyeshadows. They're quicker, they're easier, and I tend to have them on hand more often. The highlighters that I use, I always use, believe it or not, this little e.l.f. shadow. I don't even remember where I got it, why I have it, but it's just this little white shadow, and it makes a perfect highlight. Another really inexpensive one you could use, this is just a CoverGirl shadow, and it's in the color French Vanilla. That could be a really adequate highlight as well. And of course, you would blend these. Or, you know, a really, really inexpensive one would come from like an LA Colors palette. I think these are $1. There's a nice white up here. And I actually, you know, we can use some of these browns to contour our nose, which I'll show you real quick. If you're looking for a cream, there's this Revlon, just a little cream quad. And there is, of course, this real pretty color. And that's another really nice highlight option. I'm going to take this cream color from the Revlon quad. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to load it up on my finger. You can use a brush if you want. As long as you just washed your hands, it's fine to do. And I'm going to find the very top of that cheekbone. So we've got our bronzer, our blush. Now we're going to highlight. So when we put a little bit of highlighter, it's really going to add some depth to our face. The blush and the bronzer together give a really good duo of depth, and this is going to add just that little bit of accentuation. So find that cheekbone right here, very top of it, so you can lay your color down. And I like using a cream because I think it looks a little bit dewier and a little bit more realistic than putting a powder highlight on. But I do use powder highlights quite often. So now I have that highlight. And you can see the difference from here to here, where it has a real nice sheen just in the right light. So I'm going to do it to the other side of my face too. Now sometimes right on the top of your forehead, if you're like me and have oily skin, I will use a powder. And I'm going to just use that little e.l.f. powder. I'd much rather use powder on an oily spot and cream on a drier spot. For this, I'm just going to use a little fluffy brush. And I'm going to load up the brush. You don't want a ton of product. Tap it off. And just down the center, you're going to add just that little bit of offsetting highlight. And you can see it adds more dimension. We have the contour of the temples, and then that highlight right in the middle. And I'm just going to blend that contour in a little. And this really makes our forehead look a little smaller, and it's going to shave some pounds off of us. Another place I really like to put a highlight is on my Cupid's bow. You don't have to do this by any means. I'm going to take that Sin from Urban Decay, the cream form, and I'm just going to put that right on my Cupid's bow, and that's just to make my lips look plumper. Start by adding it there. And then blending that out just so. Then of course you can set that with powder if you want. And now I'm going to just contour my nose just a little tiny bit with a darker color, just so I can show you guys how you can also use a dark color to contour. While we bronze with regular bronzers and products marketed for bronzing, you don't need to do that. I can do a more in-depth, a little bit of a more difficult bronzing technique, but I think it's so much nicer and it looks a little bit better. And you can use really dark eyeshadows, you can use really dark concealers, and it's a really fun way to do it. So if anybody wants to see that, it's a lot of color placement and then blending so that it all looks flushed. For this, I'm going to use a really thin sheer cover concealer brush. And I like to use certain brushes for certain things. Just because they're labeled as one thing doesn't mean I have to use it. I'm going to use just this LA Colors, I think it's like $1 if you want it. It's just this little palette. And I'm going to use a dark color, but you know why I like this palette? There's a range of dark colors. So just because, you know, this one is super dark, that's obviously not going to look natural. If you have much darker skin, that would be perfect. This one right here, way too light. It's almost like a highlight for me, so I'm not going to use that. So I'm just going to take a little bit on my brush, and how you contour your nose, you go right from where your eyebrow ends. Start a line right there. The reason we contour noses, if you'd like, is to make that nose appear thinner. So I have one line drawn down the side of my nose. Go ahead and do the other side and then we'll blend. Then another good spot is just right here. It's a Marilyn Monroe trick actually. She used to do that to make her nose look a little more pointed. It's right there and there. And we're going to blend, don't worry. And then just right under there. So now I'm actually going to take my finger, you can take a brush, and I'm going to blend this down and out. We want the inside line to stay there and the outside line to be blended almost like a shadow. Okay, so I've just contoured really, really slightly, not even a big deal. Now I'm going to put a highlight down because this can tend to just look like a little bit of dirt's on your face. So you really just want this nicely blended. And then you put a little highlight down there and you are ready to go. And the highlight that I'm going to use is just from this Revlon Quad again. And the highlight's going to go place right down the bridge of your nose in between what we just contoured on. So place it first, blend last. And of course I'm going to just put it up here, just in that little triangle area. And you do want your highlighter blended. You don't want to just leave it like this. Make sure no bronzer or dark colors are on your fingers when you go to blend this. Just get a nice kind of extend your nostrils a little upwards. And you've got a nice pointed nose. Make sure that it's all blended though. Again, blend, blend, blend. So I hope that this helped you guys. This is kind of my idea of like a beginner lesson, or if you just wanted to refresh or see a different viewpoint on how to highlight, how to blend. There's a lot of different ways to do it. I always say, you know, there's professional ways, professional or preferred methods and techniques. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any other requests, I would love to hear them. I love sharing with you my ways of doing things, and I would also love to see your ways. So if you have a way of contouring, blending, doing highlighting, blush, please put it in the responses below as a video. It's great that we can share. Or head to my blog, seattlesbestcrystal.blogspot.com. Find my blog entry on bronzing and just go ahead and leave your comment, and we can all learn a thing or two from each other. I think that that's so wonderful, and I think that that's what's great about you girls, because you're all so eager to help, so happy to help, and so genuine with your help. Thanks guys. Bye.